Hi there, and thanks for clicking on the video. So today we can be looking at how to never stall a petrol car. Now often when you learn to drive, your driving instructor might have a diesel car, and generally in diesel cars they're less likely to stall as they have more torque, basically more pulling power, so they get away with things easier. So I'm going to show you here the basic steps you need to go through to pull away smoothly in a petrol car. So we're going to go clutch fully down, into gear 1, press the gas, you can hear a gentle rev. Your revs on the rev counter here should be between about 1.5 and 2. Don't worry if it over revs slightly. Ideally though you want to try and hear the engine. Just hearing a gentle rev, like this. And then next you want to gently ease your clutch up towards your biting point. You know when you've got the biting point, because your engine will go quieter there. Now at that point, keep your clutch still. That's a really important point. So keep your clutch still at that biting point and keep your gas pressed. And then release your handbrake, keep your clutch still, and the car will start to move. And then you can press a little bit more gas on, just very gently on the gas, and then bring the clutch up a tiny bit more. So as you press a little bit more gas, your clutch comes up a little bit more. And once you've started to move, then fully release your clutch. So if I showed you here, for example, I'm going to do the clutch really slowly, but I'm not going to find the biting point, and you'll see the problem. So I'm going to set my gas, so that's all good. I'm going to do the clutch quite slowly. So you get that bit of a jolt there, and sometimes that could be a stall. If I didn't press my gas, the car would have stalled here. Even I did my clutch pedal quite slowly, speed like this. So that's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is to find that biting point and hold it at that biting point. So because people aren't used to pressing the gas in diesel, this is one reason why they don't press the gas when they get into a petrol and it all goes wrong. I forgot to also say that in a diesel car, people do press the gas, but they often press the gas after finding the biting point, which is the wrong way round. It should always be gas, then biting point. The other reason people don't press the gas is often people get a bit worried if you press the gas, the car's going to move off too quickly. So they get a bit scared of the noise. So when you press the gas, they hear that noise, get a little bit scared, and they're worried the car's going to shoot forwards really fast. So they think, okay, I'll do no gas, then the car won't move fast. This is wrong though. The gas does not control the speed when you pull away necessarily. So what I mean by that, press lots of gas here. That's really way too much. I'm about 4,000 revs. But look at my speed. So the gas is not controlling that speed. What's controlling the speed is the clutch. So what I was doing there is keeping my clutch at the biting point. If the car's moving forwards a bit too much, I was pressing the clutch slightly below the biting point. If it wasn't moving forwards enough, wanted to move a bit faster, I brought the clutch up just slightly above the biting point. Very small movements on that clutch is the key. So with this in mind, be confident to press the gas. So when you get into your car, what you need to get used to is how much to press this gas. So what you want to do is just go to a nice quiet road and stop at the side of the road, keep the car in neutral, and just practice pressing the gas. Just pressing and holding it. And what you're trying to do is get the revs on the counter here to about 1,500. If it goes slightly over, it goes near 2, that's fine. If it goes over 2, that's probably a little bit too much. Don't panic if it does go a bit over 2,000 revs, it's not a major issue. But if it goes over 3,000 revs and starts revving really quite loudly, then come off the gas. So we're just getting used to pressing it and just holding it. Just holding it for about 30 seconds. Just get used to how much pressure is needed and get used to keeping your foot still. When you're first getting used to this, your foot may be moving unintentionally. Like this, it may be going up and down the revs. this is happening, this is why you need to practice just pressing and holding, getting used to holding your foot still. It can often help by having your heel on the ground. So your heel's like that, on the ground, rather than having your foot floating in the air. Having your heel on the ground, you've got some anchorage, and it will make it easier to hold your foot in place. Another good exercise to help build your muscle memory of your pedals is to go just a slight slope, like I'm on here, on a nice quiet road. And what you're aiming to do is have your gas and your clutch balanced so the car stays still. And you're aiming for the car not to struggle or stutter at all. And keeping your gas at about 1.5 to 2,000 revs. Again, don't worry if it goes to 2.2 or 2.5 on the revs, that's not really a major problem. Just trying to keep that gas steady and control it with the clutch. So like this, you're going to clutch down, gear 1, press your gas gently to hear a gentle rev, just get used to hearing it, and try not to look too much, it's going to distract you and take your eyes off the road. You want to hear it and feel it. Gently ease your clutch up to the biting point, about there, as the bonnet lifts, and then release your handbrake. The pedals are balanced, the car should stay still. Just get used to holding that for a few seconds. Get your feet used to where they need to be on the pedals. And then practice keeping your gas steady, keep it at about that 1,500 to 2, this is the key thing. Keep that gas steady to build muscle memory in that foot. Then bring your clutch up just about that much, barely anything. Just a tiny little bit up on the clutch and the car will start to move. Then press the clutch back down that same amount to slow it back down and to balance it, to hold the car still. So you're getting used to where that biting point is, and then try it again. Clutch up a tiny bit, keep the gas steady, and then clutch down a tiny bit to rebalance it. If it rolls back a bit, bring the clutch up a tiny bit. So what you're really doing is getting used to where that biting point is. And then try it the other way around. So press the clutch down a tiny bit so it goes below the biting point. It'll roll back. And then bring the clutch up a tiny bit to rebalance it. Keeping that gas steady. So you're controlling the car with the clutch. Now when you first do this, your feet might be all over the place. So you might be a bit like this. Now if this happens, start on a flat bit of road and work your way up to a gentle slope and then to quite a steep slope, quite a steep hill. By practicing to control your pedals, it really helps to build your muscle memory. And then when you're out driving, you'll find controlling the pedals so much easier. Something else to consider when you're driving a petrol car, or any car for that matter, is you don't want to, when you're stopped, you don't want to be stopped like this, holding your foot brake on and holding your clutch down. And then let's say you're at a traffic light and the light goes to green, what you've got to then try and do is do that, to jump off the brake and jump on your gas. Now normally what tends to happen is either this happens, like that, so you'll over rev and it'll be a very unsmooth start, or this will happen. So you won't get to the gas in time and you'll stall. So don't sit there with your clutch down, your foot brake pressed. What you want to do is put your handbrake on, then you can take your foot off the foot brake and get it near the gas and have it more ready to go. And then anticipate when that traffic light might change. So it's on red, but there's no more traffic coming from the other junctions. So start to get your gas ready, find your biting point, and then you're off. And then fully release after you move forward a few car lengths. I'd also say whenever you're moving away, particularly when you're new to it, focus on what you want to do. So focus on controlling those pedals. If you start thinking, oh, that car's rather close, I hope I don't stall, what's going to happen? you're probably going to stall. So focus on what you need to do. Concentrate on those pedals. Try to ignore the cars behind. I know it's difficult, but that's the key, to ignore the cars behind and focus on what you need to do.